Hi guys. What do we do when we get to the point where there's something that we're wanting to do and we have to find motivation to complete the task, do what we want to do, reach the goal, whatever you want to say? Motivation is tricky. Okay. So we're going to talk about some obviouses, and there's many of things that can be kind of like this. Okay. So we're going to start with the obvious. So I want to lose 50 pounds. That's just an example, right? How do I lose that? What do I do? What do I need to do? Well, I've got to find my way and motivate myself to get to that point. So you have to start little. Sometimes it's writing down your goals. Sometimes it's writing down what you need to do in order to reach them. Sometimes it's leaving sticky notes around, or it's talking to a friend about what you're going through. And so we're going to take the example of weight loss, okay? So when I've been through this before and I've wanted to hit a goal, 50 pounds is kind of drastic, but hey, let's set it high. What would I do to do that? What would I do to motivate myself and keep myself going? Okay. First thing that I would do is write down my goal. Write down exactly what I'm wanting. I want to lose 50 pounds. That would be written down and I would be able to see this every day. Okay. And then from there, what I would do is I would sit down and organize what I need to do first. Because I can say I want to lose 50 pounds, but if I have my fridge full of crap and chocolate and candy laying around, it's probably not going to be very motivational for me to do that, right? Because that's already a downfall. So, probably what I would do second after writing down my goal is sit down and figure out what I need to do, such as clean my fridge, have a scale to check, and contact my support system so that they can help encourage or support. I would research what I need to do for me to make me feel comfortable, whether it's exercise, what kind of exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's whatever you want to do. I would then sit down and make a calendar if I'm doing something like this, because I would want to have something out to where I can see it every day and make those changes, such as on Monday, I'm going to walk 1 mile. I'm going to eat this, and this for breakfast, this and this for lunch, and this for dinner. I would have that calendar available to me to see, and I would mark my day off once I've completed everything that's on that. And you would continue to do the same steps over and over and over until you've reached that goal, right? You would motivate yourself daily just by seeing what you have in front of you and going forward with that. Once you see that you have check marks done or X's out, it's going to help motivate you to get to that next day. Every day that you cross out something that you've completed, then guess what? That's going to be an automatic motivation for you. Like, hell yeah, I just did that. Look at me, you know? Um, let's talk about what happens if you fail. What happens if you fail? What happens if you don't eat what you have on that calendar or that planner? Guess what? You get up and you say, that's one day, and you go on. You motivate yourself by encouraging yourself and knowing that you're worthy and saying positive things and just accepting it for what it is and what happened, and you go on. Okay. Um, and you're just going to keep doing this over and over and over. We've talked about some motivation, like me taking my test. My motivation to pass that test is really high, and there is steps to get to that process. And the main steps to that is to study, 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 study. Well, I think that I've got a pretty good solid plan with that. How do I keep myself motivated? I keep seeing the end result. I keep saying the end result. I will have my LPC licensure. I will have my LPC licensure. I self talk and bring it into existence. I motivate myself because I continue just to talk about what my goal is. Okay. What happens if, like this last time, I was motivated. I was hardcore motivated, right? I went and took my test and like, I'm going to do it. I've got this, right? I didn't have this. I failed, but did I let it stop me? No. I let that be a fuel of fire underneath me to keep myself going and make it better. So I scratched what I had for my plan book and I restarted and I made a new sheet, made my goal of what I want and steps I need to take. And part of what I'm doing, studying for a test, is I did give myself some time off. I'm not studying right now. And the reason being is because at the end of the month, and when I get ready, when we're at that 1 month mark, I want to retake all my practice tests and see how I do with them and what I retained and where I need to go back and touch it. Right. So my goal says pass the NCE. My steps to that, my notes to me saying what I need to do is to wait 30 days, see how you do, see where you're at with your test. What did you retain? Right. From there, I then start in. I'm going to break down my actual, like, I'm going to study theories for 2 weeks. I'm going to study career counseling for 2 weeks. I'm going to break it down section by section to where I have it planned out by the end of this time when I go take my test. I've roadmapped myself to where I can get it. It's probably going to stay hard to be motivated sometimes. Sometimes that's a true thing. A suspected spam caller's calling me. I love these people. I play with them a lot. Um, but anyways, I do understand that it's hard to stay motivated. But if we take adequate steps and we make sure that we are writing down, putting it in front of us, keeping us honed in on our goal, right? The motivation is easier to come by. That motivation is something that's natural if we're looking at it every day. And what I tell my clients is, because I have a couple of them that are struggling with motivation daily, motivation to get out of the bed and motivation to, just go to work or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, but you have to change your thought process, right? You have to take that negativity that I can't to I can. I have one person that what I'm having them do is every night before they go to bed, they read something positive that I've written down for them. And that way they end their night on a positive note. They end their night on a positive thought process. They end their night with something that says, I will wake up tomorrow and be successful. That's what I do for them. That's how I give them the tools to start somewhere, right? So if we're doing, things of that nature, there's little things that we can break down and do to make big, big changes and to keep motivated. Okay. And I didn't do it for just one night. This person has, 60 days of this and for these positive thoughts or affirmations or you know ways of thinking to help him encourage going to bed on a different note, right? That way the last thing that he sees or reads or hears on the news or whatever isn't negative. It's something positive that I've written down and he can see and then he can put that in his mind and hopefully drift off and go to bed with that, right? Positive. And then in the morning, he does the same thing before he even gets up out of bed and goes, running around. He had to make 60 of them himself because I made 60, he made 60, and he reads one of his for the morning every morning, right? And his goal was to be able to get to a point where he's feeling comfortable to go to work and be sociable and do things that he wants to do in a social living life that he's held back on right now. Okay. So what I've done is I've set a roadmap for him to end the night with something positive, start the day with something positive. And what he's told me is that gives him a little bit of feed for the day. It helps start him. It's like his breakfast, that meal that gets you going. That's his thought process that keeps him going or gets him going. Um And at some point, we'll graduate from that and we'll be able to do that naturally. It'll be easier. But until then, we're just going to keep working on it, right? We're going to keep motivation going. Um, I think that motivation is very hard. I'm going to talk about William for a minute. Like, he has had some things come up recently in the last month that kind of concerned him. And he said, let me preface this by saying William was drinking a case of Mountain Dew every day and a half. Okay. Wow. Like he's hardcore. He's hardcore. And what happened is he checked his blood pressure during a physical and it was a little higher than he liked it to be. So he's like, I've got to make a change. And I'm telling you, he put it in his head, I am not going to drink Mountain Dew anymore. Okay. And I do not know how he's doing it, besides the fact that he tells me I don't want to be like that. That's his motivation, is knowing that he wants to get healthier. So he's able to maintain that. I mean, we're 2 or 3 weeks out, zero Mountain Dew. Like, how amazing is that? You know? And his motivation comes from a health factor. He wants to feel better. He wants to not worry about blood pressure. He wants to take care of himself. He wants to be healthy without medication. He wants to be all that he can be. So his motivation is that he wants to be healthier. And maybe he can write down here in the message or whether, the video or whatever, and he can put in what motivates him every day, because essentially there's something that every day when he gets up that says, I'm going to do this. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to continue to do this. There's something that motivates that drive, right? And I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. Like, he's done this for years upon years. And it's amazing to see his motivation to get better. It's amazing to watch him use his willpower and his strength to just walk away. He's endured headaches. He's endured laggish days. He's endured, all the things, but he's got motivation to continue. And that's amazing. I was at Walmart today and I was talking to the little cashier, and I don't know what brought it up, but she's like, I quit smoking in December. I just walked away cold turkey. I'm like, that's awesome. What motivated you to do that? Like, what got you there? What made you say, I will be safe, I will be fine, I can do this, to walk away just cold turkey? And her answer to me was, my grandchildren told me I smelt yucky, and it was embarrassing. So it motivated her to make a change. And how amazing is that? So we're sitting there talking and listening to her. And every day, what she does every morning, because she said she used to smoke as soon as she got out of bed. She said, every morning I tell myself, I love my grandchildren. I love my grandchildren. I love my grandchildren. And that is what motivates her to walk away and not even think about the cigarettes. And I mean, I told her as a stranger, I am so proud of you, because change is hard and we have to be motivated to get there. We have to take steps to get there. Like, she knew she was going to quit smoking. She's like, I put it in my head. She said, I think she said she's put it in her head like August 29th. Like, she had the exact date. She said, that day when I heard that from my grandkid, and it was in August, I just don't remember the day, I knew I was not going to be smoking come 2023. And I said, okay. And she's like, so what I did is I set myself up. I said, September 1, I'm not going to smoke. Okay. But she didn't do what she needed to do. She didn't quit buying cigarettes. So her excuse was, well, I still have a carton of cigarettes in the fridge, so I'm going to smoke those and then I'll complete it. So I was like, so what did you have to do to get to that point? She's like, I had to get rid of ashtrays. I had to quit buying cigarettes. I had to let myself run out. And I'm like, that is amazing. Her motivation was that she sat down and made a plan, and it worked for her. It worked for her. And so she got to December and she had a carton of cigarettes and it ran out, she said, on the 23rd of December, and she did not go buy another pack. And what she did is she said, I am so many days away from the end of the year, which will be the first of the year, and I just will not do this. I'm going to prove to myself and to my family and to my grandchildren that I can do this. And so she did. She hadn't smoked since December. It's December, I don't remember what day. I'm horrible with days. But even before her goal, she quit because she wrote down or noticed the steps she needed to take. I need to get rid of my ashtrays. I need to get rid of or stop buying cigarettes. She cleaned out her car. Like um, was keeping her car to where she wasn't smoking in her car anymore. Like she started small. I'm not going to smoke in my car. And then she was only going to smoke so many cigarettes. And then like she planned her roadmap, right? And that end goal is what motivated her. She got that because every time she would hit a stepping stone, she could mark it off and it was an automatic win that she could see. And I know, I mean, like my mom did the same thing. She just quit smoking. I don't know that she planned it out. I don't know what she did. And these two women didn't go to vapes or anything. They just cold turkey stopped. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. But they have motivation. My mom's motivation was wanting to breathe easier, breathe better. The lady at the store, her motivation was her grandkids wanted to smell her pretty. She wanted to smell good for her grandkids. She said, I didn't care about smoking. No big deal to me. I've been smoking 60 years. And so I didn't even think I would ever quit. 50 years. She'd been smoking 50 years. And these guys' motivation is just whatever it started to be, like not smelling her kids, not smelling her, or my mom, she wanted to breathe better, or William, he wanted to have lower blood pressure and do something to help towards that. The weight loss. There is always a way to motivate yourself and keep yourself motivated. It's just actually sitting down and doing the work to be 100% committed. And when you can get yourself 100% committed, you will thrive and do well. And if like I tell people, they're like, I don't need to write it down. Yes, you do. You need to write what you're doing down. You know why? Because 96% of people, or something like that, it's a higher number, need to both hear it and see it in order to make it set in. Okay. Now I know William's not writing it down every day. Good deal for him. I don't know if the ladies are writing it down, but I always suggest to everybody I talk to, write down your goal. Write down your baby steps. Roadmap yourself to that success. Okay. Mark out what you've done. Okay. And then I tell them, if there is a setback, if something doesn't go well, right? You scratch the day, scratch it out, and you put new day tomorrow. That way, you have a new day. There is a new day that will start the same thing and give you the ability to go forward. Okay. So, if you listen to this and you have anything like, how did you get motivation? Write it down below. If there is something like health risk or something like that, anything, what motivated you? What did you do to find that inner motivation? What did you do to keep it going? If you have anything that you've experienced, William, if you heard what I said and want to write it down there, please do. But for now, I do want to say thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back next week. Bye, guys.